The new city. It was a cold Monday morning in Manchester. The sky was grey and the streets were still quiet. Daniel walked slowly along the pavement with a small backpack on his shoulder. This was his first day in a new city. He had moved from a small town 2 weeks ago. Everything here felt bigger, louder and faster. The buses were always full. People walked quickly. Everyone seemed busy. Daniel stopped outside a small cafe. He looked at the sign and then at his phone. He whispered to himself, "I'll think about it." He was nervous about going inside. His English was not perfect yet. He had studied for years, but speaking to real people still made him uncomfortable. A woman passed by and smiled. Daniel smiled back and quietly said, "How's it going?" The woman laughed politely and replied, "Good, thanks." Daniel felt a little better. Maybe today would be okay. He opened the cafe door. Inside, the cafe smelled like fresh coffee and warm bread. A young man was standing behind the counter. He looked up and smiled. "Morning," he said. Daniel stepped forward slowly. "I'd like a coffee, please." The man nodded. "Sure, large or small?" Daniel hesitated for a second. "Let me check," he said, looking at the menu again. The man waited patiently. Finally, Daniel said, "Small, please." While the coffee machine made a soft humming sound, the man asked, "Are you new here?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, I just moved here." The man smiled. "That makes sense. I haven't seen you before." Daniel laughed quietly. "Yes, I'm just getting used to it." The man handed him the coffee. "My name's Liam, by the way." "Daniel." They shook hands. "Nice to meet you." Daniel replied, "Nice to meet you." Liam pointed to a table near the window. "You can sit there if you like." Daniel nodded. "Thanks." Daniel sat down with his coffee. Outside, the street was slowly waking up. Cars were passing. People were walking to work. He opened his notebook. On the first page, he had written something important. "Speak English every day." Under the sentence, he had written 10 small goals. One of them said, "Talk to one new person every day." Daniel looked at the list and smiled nervously. "Well," he whispered, "we'll see how it goes." A few minutes later, Liam walked over with a tray. "Mind if I sit here for a minute?" Daniel shook his head. "No, of course not." Liam sat down. "So, Daniel, what brings you to Manchester?" Daniel thought for a moment. "To be honest," he said slowly, "I needed a fresh start." Liam nodded. "I see what you mean." Daniel looked surprised. "You do?" Liam smiled. "Yeah, I moved here 5 years ago. New city, new job, new life." Daniel relaxed a little. "That sounds like a good idea." Liam laughed. "Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's difficult. Daniel nodded. That happens sometimes. A woman entered the cafe and waved to Liam. Back to work, Liam said. Then he looked at Daniel. If you ever need anything, just ask. Daniel smiled. Could you help me with this? He pointed to the bus map on his phone. I'm trying to find the university library. Liam leaned closer. Sure. He studied the screen for a moment. Then he said, Let's focus on the main point. Daniel looked confused. Liam laughed. The main point is this. You need bus number 42. Daniel wrote it down. Thanks. No worries. Daniel smiled. No worries. Then he added quietly, I'm not sure about that. Liam raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Daniel laughed. I'm not sure I won't get lost. Liam laughed loudly. That's a fair point. Daniel finished his coffee and stood up. Thanks for the help. Liam nodded. Any time. Daniel hesitated. Then he said, Let's meet up sometime. Liam smiled. Sure, I work here most days. Daniel nodded. I'll let you know. Outside, the air felt colder now. Daniel walked towards the bus stop. A man was standing there, checking his watch. Daniel looked at the bus schedule and sighed. I'm running a bit late. The man looked up. For the library? Daniel nodded. Yes. The man smiled. Same here. Daniel relaxed. Great. The man held out his hand. I'm Oliver. Daniel shook it. Daniel. Oliver asked, What are you up to this weekend? Daniel laughed. I just arrived here. I have no plans yet. Oliver smiled. Well, do you fancy going out later? Some friends and I are meeting at a pub. Daniel thought about it. A pub. New people. English conversations. It sounded scary, but exciting. Finally, he said, I'll think about it. Oliver nodded. Take your time. The bus arrived. They sat near the back. Oliver pointed out the window. That building is the library. Daniel looked carefully. That reminds me, he said. I need to finish a project today. Oliver asked, For university? Daniel nodded. Yes. Oliver smiled. That's a good question, he said suddenly. Daniel looked confused. What question? Oliver laughed. The question is, why study on your first day in a new city? Daniel smiled. From my point of view, he said slowly, small steps matter. Oliver nodded. I totally agree. Daniel looked outside again. The bus stopped. Oliver stood up. Well, see you around. Daniel smiled. It was great talking to you. Oliver waved. Good luck with the library. Daniel stepped off the bus and looked at the big building in front of him.
He took a deep breath.
Then he whispered quietly, "Start small, speak every day." And with a small smile he added, "Your brain is ready."